Everyone saw a sinner, but Jesus saw a man searching. A short man climbed a tree, not knowing his life was about to change. One unexpected invitation turned rejection into restoration. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through the city. This was not meant to be a long stay. Jericho was busy, wealthy, and known for trade routes. Crowds followed Jesus wherever he went, pressing in to see him. Among those watching from a distance was a man named Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was a chief tax collector, and he was rich. These two facts shaped how everyone saw him. Tax collectors were despised, viewed as traitors who worked with the Roman authorities and often took more than required. As a chief tax collector, Zacchaeus oversaw others and benefited greatly. His wealth was proof, in the eyes of the people, of his corruption. Yet Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus. Luke tells us he was short in stature, and because of the crowd, he could not see. This detail goes beyond physical height. Zacchaeus was blocked by more than bodies. His reputation placed him at a distance. People likely did not make room for him. Some may have intentionally stood in his way. So Zacchaeus did something unexpected. He ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree to see Jesus as he passed by. This action carried risk. Running and climbing were undignified for a wealthy official. He set aside pride and appearance for a chance to see Jesus. When Jesus reached the spot, he stopped. Just as with others on the margins, Jesus noticed what the crowd overlooked. He looked up and called Zacchaeus by name. This alone was shocking. Jesus did not ask who he was. He did not wait for an introduction. He spoke with intention and authority. "Zacchaeus," he said, "come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." This was more than an invitation. It was a declaration. Jesus chose Zacchaeus before Zacchaeus had the chance to speak. He did not demand repentance first. He did not set conditions. He initiated relationship. Zacchaeus came down at once and welcomed Jesus gladly. Joy replaced fear. Acceptance replaced isolation. But the crowd reacted differently. They murmured, saying that Jesus had gone to be the guest of a sinner. Their reaction reveals a familiar pattern. Grace extended to the undeserving often offends those who believe righteousness should be rewarded selectively. Zacchaeus represented everything they resented. Jesus' choice challenged their assumptions about holiness and worth. Inside the house, something transformative occurred. Zacchaeus stood up and declared that he would give half of his possessions to the poor, and if he had cheated anyone, he would repay 4 times the amount. This response did not come from pressure. Jesus did not demand restitution. The change flowed from encounter. Grace produced repentance. Relationship produced transformation. Zacchaeus' response went beyond the requirements of the law. The law required restitution, but not generosity at this level. His actions showed that his heart had shifted. Wealth no longer defined him. Restoration mattered more than accumulation. Jesus responded with a powerful statement. "Today salvation has come to this house," he said, "because this man too is a son of Abraham." This declaration restored Zacchaeus' identity. The crowd saw a sinner. Jesus saw a son. Salvation was not just personal, it reached the household. Grace entered space previously marked by greed. Jesus then summarized his mission. "For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." This sentence reframes the entire story. Zacchaeus did not find Jesus by climbing a tree. Jesus found Zacchaeus by stopping beneath it. Seeking begins with God. This story invites us to reconsider how we define lost. Zacchaeus was successful, wealthy, and influential, yet he was spiritually isolated. Loss is not always visible. Sometimes it hides behind status and security. The crowd believed Zacchaeus did not deserve Jesus' attention. Jesus revealed that grace is not about deserving, it is about seeking. Zacchaeus' willingness to climb the tree shows that curiosity can be the first step toward transformation. He did not begin with full understanding or repentance. He began with desire. Jesus met him there. This encounter also exposes how communities can become barriers. The crowd surrounded Jesus, but their presence did not guarantee alignment with his heart. Proximity to holiness does not equal participation in grace. Jesus disrupted social expectations by choosing Zacchaeus. He did not validate sin, but he refused to withhold relationship until perfection. Change followed connection. The house of Zacchaeus became a place of salvation because Jesus entered it. Presence changed atmosphere. Encounter changed direction. This story also challenges assumptions about repentance. Zacchaeus did not make promises to earn Jesus' visit. He responded after being accepted. Repentance flowed from gratitude, not fear. Jesus' words about Zacchaeus being a son of Abraham were significant. They countered the crowd's exclusion. Zacchaeus belonged. His past did not disqualify him from God's promise. This moment also connects to earlier teachings in Luke's Gospel. Jesus had spoken about the difficulty of wealth and the danger of self-reliance. Zacchaeus shows that surrender is possible. Wealth did not prevent salvation when it was released. The contrast between Zacchaeus and the rich ruler is striking. One walked away sad, unwilling to let go. The other ran, climbed, welcomed, and responded with joy. The difference lies not in wealth itself, but in openness. Zacchaeus did not defend his past. He did not argue with the crowd. He focused on what grace required of him now. Transformation looks forward, not backward. Jesus' decision to stay at Zacchaeus' house reflects his commitment to personal encounter. He does not save from a distance. He enters lives fully. The story ends not with Zacchaeus' generosity, but with Jesus' mission statement. Seeking and saving the lost defines everything Jesus does. Zacchaeus is not an exception. He is an example. For modern listeners, this passage offers hope. No reputation is too damaged, no past is too heavy. Curiosity, humility, and openness create space for encounter. It also offers challenge. Are we more like the crowd or like Jesus? Do we decide who is worthy of grace, or do we celebrate when grace reaches unlikely places? Zacchaeus reminds us that transformation begins when Jesus is welcomed, not when behavior is perfected. The sycamore tree stands as a symbol of willingness to look foolish for truth. Faith sometimes begins with risk. Jesus' words, "I must stay at your house," remind us that grace is intentional. Jesus seeks specific people, not anonymous crowds. Salvation came to Zacchaeus' house that day, not because of what he did, but because of who Jesus is. This story encourages reflection on how we respond when Jesus calls our name. Do we hide behind the crowd, or do we come down quickly? Zacchaeus' joy reveals the freedom found when identity is restored. No longer defined by greed or rejection, he stepped into generosity and belonging. The city of Jericho witnessed many things that day, but the greatest miracle was not wealth redistributed. It was a heart reclaimed. Jesus continues to seek those perched on the edges, looking for a glimpse of hope. He still stops. He still calls names. He still enters homes. Thank you for watching this video on Holy Path Insights. If this story encouraged you or helped you see grace from a new perspective, please like the video, follow the channel, and share it with others who may need to hear this message today.